Hey guys, alright, so we've had a fairly good day. We went to church and we were studying Romans in church today, which is cool because we actually started the first chapter, and it's cool because if you guys go back through my videos, I did a Bible study on the first few chapters of Romans. I think I might see if I can continue that. I had my life application Bible though. But anyway, yeah, I was gonna say, they had a taco lunch after church, so we were able to stay and eat lunch and, just have some fun with friends from church. And, I love being able to talk to our friends from church and just, that fellowship, and that's important. And
Well, they loved their home. They were always planting outside. They were always doing something to the home.
The wife died in the house.
yeah, we're watching
In their bedroom.
A Haunting as well.
In my bedroom.
Okay, so this video,
I was startled.
we are on making sausage. So this one's gonna have a few recipes in it. So get your pen and paper, guys, and get ready to write this stuff down. So, I'm tired. The smell of sausage sizzling on the grill is enough to whet even the mildest appetites, but somehow, when the sausage is fresh and homemade, it's even more enticing. And making sausage is easy. Alright, I've never made it, but I promise you guys, when it comes down to that, and I actually get that chance, I will definitely do a video so you guys can see it. Alright, so this recipe is on basic sausage. These country-style sausage links are a good place to start in sausage making. Once you have mastered this basic technique, you will be able to try the variations that follow and create your own recipes. Alright. 4 feet small, 1.5 inch diameter, so about like that. Hog or sheep casings, white vinegar, 2.5 pounds of lean pork butt, chilled, 1/2 pound of pork fat cut into 1-inch cubes, 1.5 teaspoons of dried sage, 1.5 teaspoons of coarse salt, and I would highly recommend the Redmond's real salt, 3/4 teaspoon of finely ground white or black pepper, and that would be amazing if you could grow your own. And yes, you can grow your own black pepper plants. 3/4 teaspoon of sugar. Make sure it's raw cane sugar or, something pure and raw, not refined.
You shined this light on my sister.
1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. And that would be even better than, or that would be even better if that crushed red pepper was from your own homegrown red cayenne peppers. 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of dried summer savory, preparing the casing. Rinse the casing under cool running water, remove any salt clinging to it.
A couple of seconds later, I hear him walk out the house. Where I walked.
After the incident in the living room,
Sorry.
Shannon decides to
Place in a bowl of cool water, soak for 30 minutes. I am really tired, you guys, so.
Sabrina's memory.
I woke up really early this morning. While you're waiting for the casing to soak, begin preparing the meat. Next step. After soaking, rinse the casing under cool running water.
I don't want to stay up here.
Slip one end of the casing over the faucet nozzle.
Someone's always watching.
Hold the casing firmly on the nozzle, then turn on the cold water. Gently at first and then more forcefully. This procedure will flush out any salt in the casing and pinpoint any breaks. Should you find a break, simply snip out that small section of the casing. Place the casing in a bowl of water and add a splash of vinegar. 1 tablespoon of vinegar per cup of water is sufficient. Oh, gosh. I have to put my bandage back on. Having problems with a carpal tunnel in my hand again. Yeah, I'm really tired because I woke up too early. Yeah, don't mind me. My eyes are just like, ugh. Alright. 1 tablespoon of vinegar per cup of water is sufficient. The vinegar will soften the casing and make it more transparent, which in turn will make your sausage more pleasing to the eye. Leave the casing in the vinegar solution until you are ready to use it. Rinse well and drain before stuffing. Preparing the meat. Chip pork butt into 1-inch cubes. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, preparing the meat. Chip pork butt into 1-inch cubes. Refrigerate the meat cubes in fat for 30 minutes to firm them up before grinding. If you are using a food processor, process the meat and fat to a very fine dice and mix in the seasonings after all of the meat and the fat have been processed. Ooh, I'm so tired. If you're using a hand grinder, run the meat and fat through the fine disc, 1/4 inch or smaller, twice. Mix the sage, salt, white or black pepper, sugar, and red pepper, thyme, and savory with your hands between the first and second grindings.
Exactly what her family needs. Son arranges a
If you're using an electric grinder with a sausage stuffing attachment, sprinkle the seasonings over the meat and fat and mix with your hands before grinding, because the grinding and stuffing will be one continuous operation. Stuffing the sausage.
Something's there. It's very terrifying.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to take a nap myself before I do another video.
Mexico.
Slide a bit of the prepared casing over the sausage funnel or over the attachment of the electric grinder. Push it along the entire piece of
This is going to work.
Push it along until the entire piece of casing is on the funnel and the end of the casing is even with the funnel opening. If you're using an electric stuffer, turn it on and feed the seasoned cubes of meat into the hopper. When the ground meat mixture is flush with the opening of the tube, turn off the grinder. Pull about 2 inches of casing off the tube and tie it into a knot. This will prevent air bubbles from getting into the sausage. If you're using a sausage funnel, push the ground meat mixture through with your fingers until it reaches the lip of the opening. Tie off the casing. Continue stuffing the casing until all the meat has been used. Feed small amounts of meat through the funnel at a time, packing the casing firmly but not to the bursting point. If the casings are packed too firmly, you will be unable to twist off the links without rupturing the casings. Try to maintain an even thickness throughout the length of the casing and avoid trapping air in it. When all the meat has been reused, remove any leftover casing from the funnel. Forming the links. Beginning at the tie end of the stuffed casing, grasp about 3 inches of sausage and give it 2 or 3 twists in the same direction to form a link. Continue twisting off links until the entire length of casing is done. With a very sharp knife, cut apart the links and cut off any empty casing at the end. The casing will fit the mixture like a glove and the mixture won't squeeze out. Cooking will firm up the links so the meat will not pour out even though the ends of the links are open. Aging. Sausage tastes better if it ages, a process that enables the herbs and spices to penetrate the meat more completely. Arrange the links in a single layer on a platter and refrigerate them for at least a couple of hours. Cooking. Fresh sausage should be cooked slowly and thoroughly because it contains raw pork. Storing. If you're not going to eat the sausage within 2 days, wrap the links or patties individually in plastic wrap, pack them into a plastic freezer bag, and freeze them. Frozen sausages will retain their flavor for about 3 months. Thaw them completely in the refrigerator before cooking, and it makes about 3 pounds.
Back in Chicago, the Nuno family feels their troubles are behind them.
When we went back home,
Oh, I'm tired, you guys. Ugh. Sicilian style hot or sweet sausage. This recipe provides enough that you can please everybody by making hot and sweet sausages at the same time. Just add crushed red pepper to only half of the sausage mixture. Version 1. 5 feet medium 2-inch in diameter hog casing. 4.5 pounds of lean pork butt cubed and chilled. 1/2 pound of pork fat cubed and chilled. 1 tablespoon of fennel seed. 1 tablespoon of freshly coarse ground black pepper. 2.5 teaspoons of salt or to taste. Crushed red pepper. 1/2 teaspoon for sweet sausage to taste for hot sausage. Version 2. Ingredients for version 1 plus 2 cloves of garlic finely minced, 1 teaspoon of anise seed, A-N-I-S-E. Prepare the casings as described in page 296. Number 2, use the coarse disc of a food grinder, grind the meat and fat together. 3, mix the fennel seed, black pepper, salt, and red pepper together with the meat and fat. 4, stuff the mixture into the casing, twist off to 3 to 4 inch lengths. 5, refrigerate and use within 3 days or freeze, and that makes 5 pounds. Alright, chorizo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, or it might be chorizo, I don't know. In Spain and Mexico, spicy chorizo is used alone or to add flavor to many dishes. Smoked or fresh pork can be used. The wine and brandy in the mixture give extra savor to the meat and help extract the flavor of the herbs and spices. 5 feet medium 2-inch in diameter hog casings, 3.5 pounds of lean pork butt cubed, 1/2 pound of pork fat cubed, 1/4 cup of dry red wine, 2 tablespoons of brandy, 4 cloves of garlic finely chopped, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, 2 teaspoons of freshly coarse black pepper, 2 teaspoons of salt or to taste, 1 teaspoon of fennel seed, and 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper.
I felt that he was so powerful.
1.
This was
Prepare the casings. Number 2, using the coarse disc of a food grinder, grind the meat and fat together. 3, mix the wine, brandy, garlic, vinegar, black pepper, salt, fennel seed, and red pepper with the meat. 4, place the mixture in a large covered pan. Let sit in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 hours so the wine and brandy have time to extract the flavors from the herbs and spices, and the meat can absorb some of the liquid. Number 5, stuff the mixture into the casings, twist off into 3 to 4 inch lengths. 6, refrigerate and use within 3 days or freeze. Makes 4 pounds. Country chicken sausage. Chicken makes a light sausage and is very low in fat. Be sure that the chicken is well chilled to begin with and work quickly so that it will not get warm during processing. This recipe calls for a traditional country sausage combination of ginger, sage, savory, and thyme. 2 feet small, 1.5 inch in diameter hog or sheep casings. 2 pounds of chicken meat chilled. 1 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. 1 teaspoon of salt. Half teaspoon of ground ginger, a half teaspoon of ground sage, half teaspoon of summer savory, 1/2 teaspoon of ground thyme, and a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper, which is optional. Prepare the casings. Number 1, as on page 296 that I described in the beginning of the video. Number 2, use the fine disc of a food grinder and grind the chicken. Number 3, mix the pepper, salt, ginger, sage, savory, thyme, and cayenne, if desired, with the chicken. 4, use the fine disc of a food grinder and grind the mixture. 5, stuff the mixture into the casings and twist off into 2 to 3 inch lengths. Yields makes 2 pounds. Alright, so that was on making sausage, and that was actually kind of cool. And there's actually a couple other little things that I want to throw in here. This one about sausage safety. When making sausage, you must be responsible for providing food that is safe to eat. Here are some rules to follow. Number 1, use hot water and dish detergent to scrub all surfaces that will be in contact with the meat. In particular, clean your cutting board very well. Rinse everything thoroughly. When you are finished, wash and sanitize the cutting board. Use a mixture of 1 teaspoon of chlorine bleach and a quart of water as a sanitizing solution. Number 2, assemble your utensils and equipment. Grinder, sausage funnel, knives, mixing spoons, and a large pan for mixing. Pour boiling water over the grinder and the utensils that will come into contact with the meat. Allow everything to cool completely before proceeding so as not to raise the temperature of the meat, and thus encourage the growth of bacteria. 3. Take off any rings you are wearing and wash your hands carefully. Wash them again if you are called away from your work, such as for a phone call. Sausage making equipment. With 1 or 2 exceptions, you probably already have the equipment in your kitchen that you will need to make sausage. Here's a list of the basic tools. A grinder. An old-fashioned cast iron hand grinder like the one in your grandmother's kitchen is still available and is still a bargain even at today's inflated prices. You can get those on Amazon for a decent price. A power grinder. If you don't want to grind meat by hand, purchase an electric food grinder with at least 2 cutting discs. And okay, that's fine, but what about in a grid down situation, you guys? You're going to want something that you don't need to plug in. So, get an old-fashioned hand grinder. Sausage funnel. If your grinder doesn't have a sausage stuffing attachment, or if you use a food processor to grind the meat, you will need a sausage funnel to stuff the meat into the casings. Knives. The knife is the most important tool you'll use to make sausage because so much of the job involves cutting, boning, and trimming the meat. A boning knife aids the cook in removing as much meat as possible from the bone. For slicing, use an 8 to 10 inch chef's knife. Butcher's steel. This steel or ceramic rod with a handle is used to finely hone a knife blade. And cooking fresh sausage. The best way to cook fresh sausage is in a covered cold skillet with about 1/2 inch of water. Bring to a boil, then reduce to simmer. Cook until juices run clear. Then drain and fry or grill over medium-high heat, turning frequently until it's well browned. This technique keeps the casing from bursting. Sausage patties should be cooked over medium-low heat until the juices run clear. Turn the patties once during the cooking time. And there we go. That's on making and cooking sausage. So I'm going to go ahead and get that up there, and I will see you guys on the next video, which should not be too long. Bye, guys.